moly. Russell Wilson gets traded to the Denver Broncos, but not only that, Aaron Rodgers, 4 years, $200 million in Green Bay. Oh my God. Look, we got to talk about it. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Shifty's 49ers Talk. It's your boy Shifty coming at you with another one. Breaking news across the NFL today. Russell Wilson has been traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos. So Russell Wilson goes to Denver in exchange for 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. There's going to be Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and then there's a defensive tackle who's also going to the Seattle Seahawks. Denver get Russell Wilson. Now, to me, the clear and obvious winner of this is Denver. Denver have a great offense. They actually have a ton of weapons. Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams, bunch of really good weapons who are also really young. Not only that, their defense ranked in the top 10. We just saw on Instagram that Von Miller is hinting at going back to Denver, and I wouldn't blame him, especially now with the addition of Russell Wilson in Denver. Maybe he thinks, hey, he can win another Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. So I think this is a fantastic trade for Denver. Of course, they're giving up the 9th overall pick in the draft, but when you look at that, who are Seattle going to take? They get Drew Lock in the trade. That's good. Great. Good for them. Are they going to take a Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis? Potentially, but those guys are far from sure things. So we'll see how that plays out. But for now, Denver are the clear and obvious winners. They get a franchise quarterback, a quarterback who, even though he's won a Super Bowl, is incredibly underrated in my opinion. Now, maybe I'm biased because I'm a 49ers fan and I've seen Russell Wilson kick our ass way too many times. But at the end of the day, they have a lot of great weapons. They now have a great quarterback. If they can bring back Von Miller, maybe draft a couple of offensive linemen, get a good offensive line in front of Russell Wilson with Javonte Williams, with all those weapons at receiver, man, this Denver team is immediately catapulted itself into, for sure, a top 5 team in the AFC, easily a top 10 team in the NFL. So if you're a Broncos fan, you have to be excited. This is for sure their best quarterback they've had since Peyton Manning. And I think the price given up was fairly reasonable. Look, they give it the 9th overall pick. But to me, this draft class is not a particularly strong draft class. And when you factor in how good Denver will most likely be this coming season, that 2023 first round pick, that's probably going to be in the 20s or 30s. So I love what Denver did. Now with Seattle, that's a whole different ballgame. Clearly they are in a rebuild mode, which is a little bit funny because their head coach, Pete Carroll, who I think is a good head coach, is over 70 years old. Not only did they trade Russell Wilson, but they cut Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner's been an all-pro for I don't know how many years. He's a Pro Bowler. He's one of the best linebackers in the league for the last 10 years. Easily 10 years. And they cut him. They just let him go. Now, Bobby Wagner is a free agent, and he is someone who a lot of teams will be looking to pick up. So with Seattle, you're getting the 9th overall pick. You're getting a couple of pieces from Denver. You're probably in 2023 getting the 20-something overall pick. I just don't like this trade for Seattle at all. Now, maybe I'm biased. Look, of course, I'm a Niner fan, and I don't want to see the positives for Seattle. And it could have been a case where Russell Wilson, behind the scenes, said, I'm not playing for you guys again. That could very well have been the case. And if he said that, then they're thinking, hey, look, we got to get something for him. But I just don't know. I just think Seattle could have done better. I think in terms of the Seahawks, they could have got something else back from a team like the Denver Broncos. I would have liked to have received a lot more from Denver if I was Seattle in terms of compensation and in terms of players. But, you know, Russell Wilson, he's been in the league for a while. And look, he's had some really great stretches, but he's also had some stretches that are not so great. So maybe in terms of the leverage, maybe I am overvaluing Russell Wilson. because I've seen what he can do to teams, and especially to the 49ers. But look, when it's all said and done, I think Denver won this trade. I think they are immediately a Super Bowl contender with Russell Wilson for the next 5 to 10 years, whereas Seattle, there's now a lot of question marks surrounding that team. Without Russell Wilson, without Bobby Wagner, the leaders of those teams for the last 10 years, they're now gone. So we'll see what happens. Seattle they have to hit on these draft picks, especially with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's not getting any younger. So we'll see what happens. As a 49er fan, I am so glad to see the back of Russell Wilson because he owned us for so long. Now, the funny thing is, this upcoming season, we do play the Denver Broncos. So we will play Russell Wilson, but it's only once. So he can't beat us twice. But man, it's just a crazy move. I can't believe that Seattle made this move to trade away Russell Wilson. It blows my mind. The other big news in terms of quarterback news in the NFL is, of course, Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay. 4 years, $200 million, $153 million guaranteed. Now look, if you're Green Bay, you have to be happy because Aaron Rodgers is potentially the best quarterback in the NFL of the last 10 to 15 years. Aaron Rodgers is great. Look, the Niners, we have beat him in the playoffs a bunch of times, but I know, and I think any reasonable NFL fan knows, just how good Aaron Rodgers is. And I'm not a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers being in Green Bay with a good team around him. But now here comes the question marks. He's making a lot of money in Green Bay. Green Bay's salary cap issue is not a good one. I think that this Green Bay team in the coming season is not going to be as good as the 2021 version unless they absolutely nail the draft, where immediately these guys have significant impacts. But with this new contract for Aaron Rodgers, they are still well over the salary cap. They haven't even signed Davante Adams yet. So they're going to lose a bunch of guys. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, a number of other guys are most likely going to be leaving in free agency because they just can't afford them. So when you give Aaron Rodgers all this money, look, I think Green Bay are going to be a very competitive team. They are, in my opinion, fairly easily the best team in the NFC North. So they'll be a playoff team, in my opinion, no matter what, unless Rodgers gets hurt. But I just don't think that they're going to be a better version of the 2021 team. I don't think that they'll be a better version of the 2020 team. When you look at the Green Bay Packers, even in 2021, they signed Devondre Campbell for basically a vet minimum deal. He went on to be an all-pro. But they signed Rasul Douglas, who had a huge season for them. He ain't going to come back at that same price. So to me, look, the Green Bay, they were really hurt by injuries last year. They were one of the most impressive teams because they overcame so many injuries. And of course, they're getting back Bakhtiari. Jair will probably be there for the whole season. But wow, with this salary cap issue, they're going to be losing a lot of other players. They're going to be losing players to free agency. They're going to be losing players, it's hard to see Green Bay on paper being a better team. Now, maybe on the field they could be, but again, they have to. They have to nail the draft because they're going to be losing a lot of veterans. So, look, if you're Green Bay, if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, like Tom Grassi, of course, look, you're going to be stoked to have, arguably the best quarterback in the league back on your team. There's no doubt about that. Of course, you should be over the moon about that because what are the other options? Jordan Love? But that's another topic to talk about. Jordan Love, to me, if I'm Jordan Love, I'm saying, trade me out of here. I'm not going to sit here for another 3 or 4 years being a backup after being a first-round pick. I want to play football. He's already sat patiently for a couple of years. He's probably going to demand a trade. Maybe he'll go somewhere. He's not going to bring Green Bay back that much in terms of draft capital. So we'll see how it goes. This day has just been wild to see Russell Wilson traded. He's the face of the franchise for Seattle. To see him traded to Denver, Aaron Rodgers, who we all thought was either going to retire or be traded or go to Denver. He's coming back for a few years, but now Jordan Love, what's going to happen with him? That seems like kind of a complete waste of a first-round pick from Green Bay back in 2020. So a lot of things to talk about. I want to hear all of your guys' thoughts because I'm struggling myself to process all this. So it's a crazy time in the NFL, and we haven't even hit free agency, which is going to be even more wild. So I just can't wait. It's such a fun time. Leave comments. Let me know what you think about my thoughts. Give me all of your thoughts. Like, subscribe, comment. It's such a good time. And you guys know that I'm going to say two things. The butt counts. I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side.